Hello. Chances are you clicked on this video because you are interested in learning in how to deal with desperation. Well, you're in the right place. I am Steve Barham, and I'm an independent emotional researcher. I have the best credential in the world. I have the problem myself, okay? I have Graves' disease and no thyroid, so I am susceptible to negative emotions and states, and from 2002 to 2009 I was desperate for an answer myself, so I have had the same problem, maybe different circumstances, okay, but the same problem. Desperation and other negative states is a symptom. There are other factors as well. One is fear. The fear of something will happen, the fear that something has happened and is going to just get worse, and being desperate for a solution. Well, now there is a technique that can take down the state of desperation itself, leaving you calmer to deal with the problem. So when you're desperate, there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of anxiety, and you can be upset and distraught, etc., etc. It's not just desperation. The real desire is to get rid of it. Am I wrong? I wanted to get rid of mine. Okay, you probably want to get rid of yours, not just manage it, not just handle it, not just cope. You want to get rid of it. That would be a great solution, wouldn't it? Well, how does the technique work? It helps you to realize and process the emotional state and get at what is called the emotional charge. Okay? The charge of the emotion. Charge is defined as the load of something on you, or the load something is giving you. It's the load. Okay? The energy of the emotion, but it's more than just the load. It's the energy of the emotion itself, the energy of the emotion, in the emotion, and behind the emotion. Okay? It is not just the chemistry of the brain. If it were, you could just go get a pill. And if it were, my Lavoxyl would work. My Lavoxyl doesn't always work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It might lower my TSH levels, okay? And my doctor might be satisfied with that, but I still have the emotional issues. It doesn't help with the emotional issues just because my TSH levels are low, or my Lavoxyl, my thyroxine levels are in balance or whatever. It's more than just chemistry, and it's more than just out chemistry or chemical imbalance. Because when my chemistry is in balance, I still have the problem. It's something else. There's more to it. It's an energy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Charge is the energy of the emotion. It has an intensity. It has an amount. You can rate it. That might be subjective. You know, that was an 8 out of 10, and that might be subjective, but you can still rate it. For you, at least. It has a frequency, and not just how many times it happens, but an actual type of electrical-like frequency, okay, wavelength, okay, and a polarity, positive or negative, like or dislike. Our emotions are based on like or dislike, pleasant or unpleasant, etc. Emotions are like light, okay, light. We have one spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum, but we have a lot of frequencies in that, okay? And so this light, red light, orange light, yellow light, blue light, green light, blue light, the colors of the spectrum are different frequencies of the same thing. The electromagnetic spectrum, electromagnetic energy, Okay? Your emotions are like that. Your brain isn't just chemistry, it's electrical. Just like radio stations. You got one dial of radio frequencies. At a certain frequency you have a station, at another frequency you have a station, at another frequency you got a station, etc. Emotions are like that. They're a emotional frequency on the emotional spectrum. It's all one spectrum and it's all one type of energy, and that's why the technique can work on all of them. It isn't just desperation. It's fear, it's hate, it's antagonism, it's intimidation, it's dislike in general, it's grief in being specific, okay? It's grief. My father passed away in February of 2016. My sister passed away last month in August 24th, 2016. I did my technique all throughout all of that. It helped a great deal. So we're dealing with, okay, we have this one spectrum, okay, and we have these frequencies, and one of those frequencies is desperate. Okay? Desperate is that emotional frequency. It's an emotional energy, it's an emotional charge. Okay, the amount of that, the intensity of that. Okay? Only you can really rate that, because I'm not you. And I don't know how you interpret it. Okay, so to you it may be a 5 out of 10, it may be an 8 out of 10, it may be a 10 out of 10, it may be a 12 out of 10. Okay? And for somebody else the same amount might be only a 4 out of 10, you know, because they're a little more stoic or something. So it can be subjective. I mean, I have Graves' disease and no thyroid, so I'm susceptible. I am more sensitive because of that. Okay? The technique reduces the energy signal, the signal of the emotional energy that you get when you feel fear or whatever. You feel that almost electrical-like shock kind of run through you. Oh, you know, and it makes us withdraw. Okay, fear. Okay. I had a panic attack, and I described my panic attack on the DVD, and it was like a bolt of lightning shooting down through me. It was electric. Okay, chemistry there may be, electric there certainly is. Okay, it was electric. So what the technique does is it reduces that energy signal, the charge, we say, reducing the emotion of desperation itself. And it's not just desperation, okay? It's all negative emotions. This technique doesn't work on just desperation, just for people who are desperate. It's all negative emotions. I go through it all of the time. Okay? I've used this technique on just about everything, nearly every day, since around, I say May or April, but it was probably more like January or February of 2009. I was pretty out of it back then. I don't always have my timeline exact. Okay. In 2009, I discovered this technique that takes down the negative emotions, okay, including being desperate or desperation. I wrote a book. It's entitled Happiness is No Charge, meaning no negative emotions. Okay? Because that's generally what charge meant. Okay? I do have a background. I have a 2-year study in psychosomatic phenomenon back in the 70s. So I have a little background knowledge of the mind and emotions and this word called charge. Okay? That's where I learned the word charge, was back then in my studies. So I have this book, Happiness is No Charge, and it describes the technique and my examples, etc., etc., etc. There are 4 sections. The first section is a history with Sigmund Freud and about shell shock victims. And the second section is how to get rid of the negative emotional energy. And the third section is my realizations or whatever. Basically, I think I'm wrong on that. Okay. Shoot, I hate doing that, but that's just hate charge. And so anyway, there are 2 versions of this on my website, okay, that you can get. One is an ebook, a Kindle version ebook on Amazon.com, but you don't have to have a Kindle in order to get it. You can download free software for whatever device, you know, tablet, computer, smartphone, whatever, and then from inside the app you can go to their store, you can buy it, it'll be downloaded instantly. It's only $2.99. It's a very short read. You'll learn the technique in about 5 to 10 minutes of reading. Okay, it's only about 22 pages total. Okay, this is not a book this thick like I read back in the 70s on emotions. This is just to teach you the technique and the concepts, okay? But you'll learn the technique, and you can do it on desperation or fear or worry or that guy over there, his antagonism towards you and his attempt to intimidate you and put you down, bully you. In his attempt to bully you, you can do the technique on that. And it can stop bothering you. Okay? There is also a DVD. And the DVD is 5.5 hours. I got 5.5 hours on a 2-hour DVD. I had to tweak and kind of lessen the video quality a little bit to do that, but I wanted it all on one DVD because I didn't want to charge you more money. Okay, it's still very, very viewable. It was done with this camera, and it has more information and more examples about charge and the technique, and it teaches the technique. It's basically Happiness is No Charge with more content. There are also 2 other sections. The first section is the addendum, which is other things that are charged that you might not think are charged. And then there's a list of emotions that you can just start on. Okay, you can go down that list. That's the 3rd section. Okay. The DVD is $14.95 and about $4.30 shipping to most states, probably the 48 lower states, and I'm not exactly sure how much it would be for Alaska. But it generally ships. They publish Kunaki. It's on Kunaki.com. They you pay them. That's where you buy it. They print your DVD. They send you the DVD. And you get it in about 4 to 5 days, depending on how far away you are. I generally get mine in about 4 days. Okay, I think they're in Nevada. Okay, so click the link below, hnc-today.weebly.com, and go over to the website and read my depression story about how I discovered the technique and how it helped me, and read about the 2 different versions, and you can make your choice about which version you want, should you choose. So thank you very much for your attention, and bless you all, and be well and happy, because happiness is no charge. No negative emotions. Now, I can't guarantee your results personally, but I can tell you what happened to me with this technique. When I was sick, 15 years ago with the Graves' disease and the no thyroid stuff was going on, and I had a really bad case of candida and leaky gut along with that. I was just absolutely miserable. Okay, I would describe myself as about 60% or 65% of my old self. My technique has brought me back, at least emotionally, 95% plus. On a good day, it's about 97.5. Okay? It's not 100%. I'll never be probably 100%, but 97% as opposed to 65% is a good increase. I hope you have the same benefit. Take care. We'll see you next time.